Wow, wow, wow. Look what I got my hands on. One of my favorite 32GB RecalBox Images Emolga. Dropping a brand new edition with a ton of fixes, brand new themes, the brand new RecalBox with total customizability. Let's check it out.
These guys don't stand a chance.
So here we are in the brand new Emolga Silver Edition. Ton of fixes, everything from Nintendo 64, all working really good. The brand new RecalBox already updated for you. 3 pre-installed themes, a custom splash screen, music on every single system if you want it. Kodi, it goes on and on and on and on and on. There's a lot of changes on here. A couple of things on first boot, you don't have to do anything. What I do is just hit A or B on your controller. It should detect it, and then set up your controls, and you should be rocking and rolling. A couple other things I would do if I were you, I like to do this, is one, I might consider overclocking. If you go over to advanced settings, there's an overclock script over here that's really easy to use. You just go here, you can change it. I recommend 1300 if you want to be a little more conservative, or if you got really good cooling, think about 13.5. Other thing is I might lower the VRAM a little bit, but I mean, I actually have, it starts out all the way at the top, and I have to say that I was getting pretty good performance there. The other thing is if you want Kodi, it's not installed. You got to turn it, enable it if you want to enable it. And then in game settings, you might want to turn off your shaders. It does come with scan lines on. Just go ahead and turn those off if that's not something you want. If you want to change the resolution in certain systems, you can do that here. Game ratio, rewind, and smooth games is on. So some really beautiful games. As far as the system, there is an extra. I think there's like 3 or 4 gigabytes remaining on here. It is in English already, and we are in version 18.04.20. So once you do all of that, you should be rocking and rolling. If you want to turn off the background music, you can do that here. We can even lower the system volume a little bit. And now we're good. I guess one more thing is in UI settings. If you do want to change the theme, you got Emolgabox Next Level, Space Oddity by Phil's Doodles, and RecalBox Next. I'm on Emolgabox. The other thing is you can change this. You can change the icons on the lower left-hand corner to PlayStation or Standard or SNES. You can also change the way the wheel works. Right now it's a vertical wheel. You could do an attract mode wheel where it's like it comes bigger. You could do the legacy wheel, more of a horizontal carousel. You have a lot of options there. You can also change the region. I'm gonna keep it on US because I like Sega Genesis. But if you like Mega Drive and Master System, those can be done with the EU or Japanese versions. So what else is done on here? So all the ROM sets are updated to the latest versions. The themes are all updated for you. The custom splash screens. There is bezels for all the systems. They're just very, 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 very basic. So while I'm going through these changes, let's go ahead and see what we have on this arcade set, which is a totally updated arcade set. The Neo Geo games were removed from it, so you should just see the Final Burn Alpha and MAME. Over 2,100 games. By the way, this image total is about 1,300 plus titles. So huge collection, 26 systems, I believe. Over 36 systems. We're going to go back to the main menu in just a moment, and something to note about the main menu while we're going through some of these arcade games. Wow, there's a lot. That's another thing is you can, if you hit select, you can turn hidden files on or off. I had them on for a second there. They come off to begin with. And the reason for that is, I I don't want to edit that. I just want to go back. Okay. The reason they're off is there are some mature games, and they went ahead and turned those hidden. So by default, all the mature games are hidden. Also, they did include like alpha builds, translation games, as well as hack games in here as well. On like, for example, Super Nintendo, Nintendo, Genesis, you're going to find quite a bit in there. So as we finish up these arcade games, a couple other things. They do have bezels, overlays. They're very, very simple ones. They fixed the vertical games for the arcade set. BIOS files have been upgraded. The correct emulators are used for all the arcade games. Duplicates have been removed. And as you see here, so as we finish the arcade set, over 2,151 titles. We got to just get through the you got Street Fighter, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Simpsons. You got the verse games. You got your WWFs, wrestling, WrestleFest, I believe is on here as well. X-Men. Yeah, you got all the good stuff. There is no video snaps on RecalBox. So back to this menu really quick, but that's how we're able to hit 13,000 games. There's no video snaps. You're going to notice it goes from arcade to console. So as we go through the console, Super Nintendo, we're going to go back through them individually. Then we go to PC, computers. So these are all computer systems. And then it goes down to handhelds. So it's sorted in that order. So arcade, consoles, computer, then handhelds. Okay. This only works for the Raspberry Pi 3B. That's the 1.2 gigahertz. That's why the overclock script doesn't go up to 1.6, 1.7. Because the Raspberry Pi 3B Plus still is not supported on the RecalBox. That's the new 1.4 gigahertz version. Now let's go through these systems. Atari 2600. As you see, 557 games, but 8 are hidden. So either those are duplicate games or they're mature games. Atari 7800, 65 games. Coleco Vision 156, Vectrex 33, Odyssey 2 83, TurboGrafx 16 284 with 3 hidden. Super Graphics, also known as PC Engine 5. We got Nintendo, 1,217. So you're going to see a ton of hacks in here, a lot of extra games. So Adventures of Lola, a bunch of them, lots and lots of games. Family Computer Disk System, 173. Super NES, 1,024. Nintendo 64, 235. And Nintendo 64 works really good on the RecalBox. I'll tell you right now, you're going to get a lot of good compatibility, especially if you overclock to that 1.3. SG 1078, Sega Master System 363, Sega Genesis 904. It would say Mega Drive if you were on the EU. Sega Genesis 32X or Mega Drive 32X 36. Neo Geo 136. The one thing I found about Neo Geo is it doesn't have Demon Front on it, so you might want to add that ROM. That's the only thing I was missing on here, but it does have all the Metal Slugs and all the final fights and all that stuff, so good to see there. Let's go ahead and go back out. So Neo Geo. Now we move to computers. Amstrad CPC 355, Apple II 172, Atari ST 275, Amiga. And by the way, the Amiga launcher is all fixed, so it should be running really good. 314, Commodore 64 398, MSX 1 and 2 700, Sinclair ZX81 24, ZX Spectrum 368 on there. Sharp 68,000 276. And now we're on to handhelds. Atari Lynx 84. Game & Watch 52, Game Boy 622, Virtual Boy 28, Game Boy Color 606, Game Boy Advance 1083, Game Gear 295, Neo Geo Pocket Color 76. They did remove Neo Geo Pocket. It's no longer on this. Wonderswan 44, Wonderswan Color 30, and then we're back at arcade. So really quick, let's go ahead and boot up. Let's do like 1943 or something, a very simple arcade game as we go down here. And you can see the bezel. I did turn on, let's try 1945. Let's get a little crazy. So it does have a little custom loading screen. All right, and so this is the vertical bezel. So you notice certain arcade games will have a vertical bezel and certain arcade games will have a full bezel. I turned off the shaders, but if you are, if you do like the shaders, they will be turned on by default. All right, and as you can see, some of the larger bezels will look just like that. And then for the systems for like Super Nintendo and things like that, it's going to be just a much larger. So let's just do a Nintendo game really quick, 1942. So the overlays are just very, very simple, basic TV type of things. And then the computers have little speakers as well. I think so. Nice. All right, so there you have it, a 32 gigabyte RecalBox image. Here we are on Phil's Doodle Space Oddity. As you see, it totally changes the look. It has this. You can also just go to the stock RecalBox for more of a standard if you want something a little less flashy. Quality stuff. The one thing it was missing, one of the games I would have liked, and all I got to do is add that game. A little bit of customization, as you saw in the beginning of the video, that I would do if I was using this image, but it's all up to you. As you saw, RecalBox really easy to use. You just hit the start button and everything is at your fingertips. There's not a lot of configuration. You don't really need a keyboard to hook up. The controller compatibility has gotten a lot better. That was one of the issues with RecalBox in the past. The other issue people didn't like about RecalBox was updating it was not that easy, and then as well as the customizability within the front end. As we saw with RetroPie, Emulation Station, ton of upgrades. You have a track mode, all that stuff. And now with these new UI abilities and configuration changes, it's awesome. As you saw, really easy to overclock. So the ease of use is just amazing. As far as Emolga and what they've done, fixing all the systems, adding them to the latest and greatest, updating RecalBox for you so you don't have to do it, installing those themes, custom splash screen, boot screens, overlays, the scan lines, everything is done for you. So got to give this one an A, thumbs up. I definitely go for this one. The biggest differences between the old version is they did drop like Geo Pocket, which who really cares? I don't. And then they updated it all for you. So for all those reasons, I'd go for it. It's also a really small file as well. So no matter what kind of 32 gigabyte SD card you have, it should work. I'm seeing right now on my computer, the file size is 24.9 gigabytes, guys. So even if you have the most janky, generic SD card, it should work on this. But I do recommend a SanDisk Ultra or a Samsung or something. But even if you do have one of those generics, it should actually work. That's going to be at 26,841,449,000 bytes is the exact bytes. So as long as your SD card has that much space available on it and it's a class 10, it should work no problem without lag. But again, that's something I don't have control of. Anyways, back to this image. Lovely stuff. Thumbs up all around. Let me know if you guys got any questions. Shout out to Emolga and their team. They're up to 2,400 members on their Discord. If you're interested in the image, you can get it on their Discord. They'll have links up there. They're also going to probably put it on their website soon, so I'll link to both of those. Special shout outs to B Don, Bonk, Salib Horge, Cole JJ, Cyril, Fabio, Freeman QC, No the Greek, Steck Dev, Super Magic Com, Swiss Tony, Tangs, and Thraka. As I mentioned, it's a small file. It's nice and compressed. There's torrents. There's a couple other file ways to get it. It's really easy. So with all that, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.